All right. How's everyone doing? Let's see. Is everything working? Can you guys hear me? All right. Cool. Well, thank you all for being here this Easter Sunday. Oh, that's not all the way. Okay. So happy Easter to everyone who celebrates Easter. Happy 420 to everyone who celebrates 420, and whatever other day this may be for you. Um, we're gonna get started here in a little bit, but give people a chance for some, for people to log in. Sorry, and so has anyone had any successes or anything that they wanted to share? Have any results or anything that they've had from? We've had a couple of weeks back, so you know it's not generally a whole lot of time, but someone might have had something happen. I was thinking about it, and it seems like 3 months is about typical for me. Like whenever I do a ritual for something, it's usually sometimes it happens right away. Don't get me wrong, but 3 months seems to be a pretty good idea of time, like if it's going to work out or not. So it's just 2 weeks, but we'll see what we get. I'm not seeing anybody posting anything, so I guess we're still getting revved up. So yeah, it's been a hell of a week. I haven't got a whole lot done this week. So my wife has had really bad carpal tunnel syndrome, and last year she also had a rotator cuff replacement on her left shoulder. So they did both surgeries at the same time, but the recovery from the shoulder surgery took a really long time. It's pretty major recovery for that surgery, and so the other surgery on her right hand got kind of put off for a while. So she's like, okay, I'm ready to get it done, but the doctor here is in pretty high demand because he's really good. So, but he managed to slip us in pretty quick. And then the night before the surgery, I get word that my grandfather died. And she offered to postpone the surgery. I was like, no, let's just go ahead and get it done. And so we did both. We've been dealing with both, and it's just been a busy week. But she has recovered very well. She's doing really good, and hasn't been like it's not. I'm not having to do very much for her. Just open a few pill bottles here and there and stuff. Her mobility in her hand is coming back really quick, and but anyway, it's still been a hell of a week, and it's hard when something like this happens, and we live really far away from the rest of the family. They're in Texas and we're in Reno, and so and there's no funeral. He didn't want a funeral, and so there wasn't really any reason to go back. So I just plus with her having the surgery, I didn't want to have all that pile it up like that. So we just stayed here. So it's been a little difficult dealing with just this week, and still I didn't really take time off from work. I didn't create anything new to release, but otherwise didn't really stop working. Anyway, but I did kind of the bare minimum. So let's see, it's been about 5 minutes. We can go ahead and start talking about this. I did not get the prayers released. I had meant to do that. Um, just one of those things that kind of slipped my mind throughout all this, and so I'll try to get those out next week so you can follow along better. They have been on the Patreon, but I was going to release them to everyone else. But basically, the way this works is I'm going to read the prayers first in English, and then that way you know what we're praying for and what we're asking for, and then you can um, within the scope of that, like if we're praying for wealth, if you have a specific need or something like that, then that's when you would kind of um, say, okay, I'm wanting this, and if you wanted to add the emotional alchemy in, and that's where you would feel your need for whatever you're asking for, and then transform that into gratitude as I'm reading the prayer in Enochian. And it doesn't have to be like real deep. It's not like you have to be like living that pain or whatever, and then transform all the way into gratitude. You just need a taste of it. Just get an impression of the need, and then an impression of the gratitude, and really the gratitude is more important. And maintaining the gratitude. And if you ever do, like, gratitude just kind of solves a lot of the problems with magic. If you ever feel like you didn't do something right, or you're lusting for results or something, just feel grateful for um, to whoever you've asked help from, and then what you're asking for, and as though you've already got it. And just um, gratitude is kind of the key to manifestation. It's the magnet that makes it all work. So anyway, yeah, that what you do. So yeah, I'll read the prayer in English, and then I'll read it in Enochian, and then I will send the energy. And again, like when I'm sending the energy, you can just ask it to go where it needs to go for whatever it is that you're wanting. And all of this will also work if you're not watching live. So by all means, if you weren't here live and you're watching this later, you can still get everything from this. The energy will still come through, because the energy is weird. Like, it's really like people get results before I've even sent chi balls and before they've accepted them. It really starts to, all magic works like this, but you can really get a better sense of it with the attunements and stuff. The timey wiminess of it. But it all starts to flow as soon as you decide that this is what you're going to do. As soon as you decide I'm going to do a ritual for such and such thing, the energy starts to flow. And this is with attunements and with regular magic. It doesn't matter. It all starts to work right away as soon as you decide that you're going to do it. But then it's still important to follow through and do the ritual, even if you get the results ahead of time. It's just, it's weird, and it's weird how it works. So anyway, let's go ahead and I guess let's get started. Take a minute, kind of silence, and center myself here. Come, I call you. Come to all of us. Make us one in God. Glorify God. Rejoice with us. Bless us, and unite our fellowship. Make our hearts a holy temple and our minds a holy throne. Open the temple of our spirit and dwell within us, O God. Let our thoughts be immaculate light, and our gratitude become an unconquerable power. Make us one as God is one. Come, says Zakar, Ol Nan, Zakar, Ganan, Enon, Nan, Iyad, Sobam, Yad, Al Vavago, Nan, Latnan, O Sobor, Non, Ina, Nunsia, Balsgim, Lim, Adnan, Sia, Odan, Lil, Zakar Baskim, Nan Sia, Ad Tablum, Nan Ya, No Noas, Nan Kazan, Pul Adnan, Avavago, No, As, Samfol Tog Og, Tino on El, Iyad Al. Oh, I'm really struggling with it today, sorry. And we're going to skip down to the prayer for protection. O eternal living God, powerful and most high, holy, everlasting, and strong, we call upon you. We glorify God. Shield us from all things. Bless us and guard us. Shatter darkness and break the wicked and silence the unjust. Be friendly with us. Dwell with us in heaven and earth. Truth and justice eternal from the Creator God. We give thanks. We are blessed and we rejoice. Yoyad Pa'id, Ya'ida, Lil Balto Ad Samf, Zakar Nan Sobal Yad, Lo Kal Nan Ga, Lapnan Ad Zmad, Pire As, Pire Loholo, Ad Zikisle, Dorfa, Zorgenan, Tabli Nan Madriax Ad Kaosk, La Iad, Veoan, Balto, Al Lag Yad, Olagnan, Lapnan, Avavagonan. Oh, that's right. So I'm sending the energy for protection now. And this works with the very concept of protection. So you can protect anything that you want, yourself, your loved ones, but also more abstract things like your income or your family, just in a general sense, your peace of mind, your health. Okay, now for a prayer for health and healing. O eternal most high, perfect and everlasting in power, we call upon you, we glorify God. Make us flourish in joy and brightness. Bless us, preserve our strength, and bind us together. Be friendly with us. Dwell with us in holiness and abundance. Call and shatter the darkness. Shield us from all things. We give thanks, we rejoice, and we are blessed. Yo ya ida Kazgan Balto Ad Samf. Zakar Nan Sobam Yad. Eno Nan Avavago Ad Kazgan. Lap Nan Zomet Samf O Kisnan. Zorge Nan Tabli Nan Lil Ad Balit. Zakar Pire As Lokal No Gan Olag Nan Avavago Nan Latnan. Now the energy for healing. Just imagine it going to wherever you need healing in your life. The prayer for love and friendship and belonging. O holy God of justice, brightness, and joy, we call upon you. We glorify God. Bless us and be friendly with us, and make union in heaven and earth. Break division, call beauty, and bind us in fellowship. Call forth one in beauty, and make us one. Summon treasures to me, holiness to all joy, truth and justice. Glorify us with protection, and we give thanks, we rejoice, and we are blessed. Yadan lil veoan, kasgan ad vavago, zakarnan sobal yad, lapnan ad zorgenan, eno, madriax ad chaosk pire, lonshi zana zakar pued, ad gis nan sobol, zakar el pugo, eno non el baut, zakar al lil gaavavago, la iad veoan, soban non lokal, olag non, avavago, non lapnan. And this is the energy of love and belonging. Just imagine it flowing into your life, bringing you more love, strengthening the relationships that you have, creating new ones, manifesting the love of your life, whatever it is that you need. Building community. And the prayer for wealth and abundance. O eternal most high, power holy and everlasting, we call upon you and we praise you. Bless us with all treasures, brightness, and power. We call upon you to break open all riches in the heavens. Rejoice with us, be friendly with us, and shield us from darkness. Bless us, O Creator of all. Our souls give thanks and blessing. O Yad, Ya'ida, Samf il Balto, Zakar nan Sobal Yad, Latnan, Gabaut, Kasgan ol Saf, Zakar ol Pire, Gabaut ol Madriax, Avavago nan, Zorgen nan, Lokal ors Latnan, Olag Zadar Meta, Yada na, Zomad Lap. Now the energy of prosperity. Is to bring wealth, success, and all of the good things in life to you. I like to imagine gold and precious gems just raining down from the sky all around me, and then just knowing that all of that is mine. And now for magical and psychic power. O Most High, God of power, wisdom, and truth, we call upon you. We glorify God. Govern us in wisdom, and call me a seer. Make us truth and perfect treasures. Be friendly with us, and shield us from darkness and injustice. Bless us with power, and let us rejoice. We give thanks for wisdom and protection. Yaida, Yadan, Samfga, Gahoakma, O Laiyad, Zakarnan Sobam Yad, Pirnan Gahoakma, Zakar O Laholo, Eno Nan Laiyad, Ad Kazgan Baut, Zorgen Nan, Dukal Nan, Urs Ad Dorfa, Lapnan Saf Ad Avavago Nan, Olagnan, Gahoakma, Nan Zamadnan. Imagine this energy is transforming you from the inside, removing anything that's blocking your psychic or magical abilities, turning you into a powerful seer, powerful magician. Prayer for justice and for righteous leadership. Yadan Voa, ruling God of justice, power, truth, and everlasting light, we call upon you. We glorify God. Govern our fellowship and make the weak a brotherhood. Break the wicked and judge the unjust in darkness. Preserve the lowly and bless us, and bind the lowly in oneness. Establish justice for all, and let God rule everlasting. We give thanks, we are preserved, and we are justice. Yadan Va'alan, Samf La'iyad, Balto, Zakarnan, Sa Bal Yad, Pirananso, Sobal, Ad, Eno, Sabo Lanshi, Pire, Loholo, Zixle, Dorfa, Ad Ors, Zomad Lanshi, Lap Non Kis, Elanshi, Kis Veoan, Ga Pir Yad Balto, Olagnan, Zomadnan, Va'uanan. And now, a prayer for freedom from oppression. Call upon God Almighty, the Most High, the ruling God and unconquerable power. A call for judgment upon darkness, to bind all injustice, and to cast down and bind all suffering of the lowly. Have mercy on me, preserve me, and make me powerful. Let me govern myself and establish us to govern the earth. Shine the light of your face, grant us wisdom, and perfect our spirit. Give us joy and glorify us. Zakar ad ya balto, pa'id ya'ida, ya dan on saf ta'og, zakar o zikle, or kis ga dorfa ad, tax ad kis ga lanshipur, preol zomad ol ad ino, on saf pirol ol, ad kis o pir gasa, zakar aldan, lap ol gahoakma, Ad Kozgan Ol Sia, Olag Ol, Avavago, Ad Somba Ol. And finally, a prayer for wisdom and divine union. O God Most High, bright and holy, we call upon you. We glorify God, make us wise and divine, see divine truth. Join our spirit as one, bind us in heaven and earth. Be friendly with us, rejoice with us, and bless us. Wisdom is power and holiness, and we give thanks. Yad Ya'ida Gahoakma Kazgan Lil Zakar Nan Sobal Yad Eno Nan Gahoakma Ad La'iyad Sia Or No El Ad Kisnan Madriax Ad Kaosk Zorge nan. O vavago nan lopnan. Gahuakma samflil. Ad olagnan. Now, final blessing. Let eternal beings sustain us, preserve us in life, and bless us. Bless us with wisdom, that we may speak the speech of God. Call all the spirits of the heavens to guard us and guide us and bless us. Give us love, pleasure, healing, glory, treasure, peace, and the secret joy of God. May he who sits on the holy throne of God establish us and enthrone us in power. Let us govern the earth with unconquerable power. Balto, Zirnan, Zomadnan, Toad, Ad Lapnan, Lap Nan Gohoakma, Eno, Nan, Logayad, Zakar Gaya, Yadan, Madriax, Zamd, Nan, Pirnan, Adlapnan, Olag, Nan, Bliorp, Vereb, Pul, Sobal, Yal, Pags, Olad, Laiyad, Veowan, Avavago, Yad, Virias, Yad, Odan, Lis Kinan, Ad, Pirnan, To Madirax, Ad, Pirnon, Chaos, Tafag. We give praise and thanks to God Almighty and everlasting. We give praise, joy, and thanks to all the spirits of heaven and earth. We, the children of God, of heaven, holy children, go forth in love and power to create a temple of heaven upon the earth. Olag nan sabal ad preyad palto ba'id. Olag nan sab avavago ad a preyo gayo yadan magiax kayask. Lil yo kam nan. Zir Gabriorg, Adsamf, Eno, Basin, Madriax As. You guys still here? Haven't seen anyone posting any or commenting anything. Is this hasn't froze up, has it? Okay, good. So yeah, sorry, that was a little bit more rocky than usual. I'm a little out of it still, but we're here. We're hanging in. Seemed like there was something I wanted to mention today, but I don't remember what it was now. I don't know. Does anyone have any questions or comments or anything? And we have made this shorter. We'll find the right mix of stuff. I think this week it was just enough to be here and show up. So the question is, do you think that physical changes in the body through magic with Tabatlu, for example, can occur quickly? I know that most of them take time, but I have this doubt. Like an answer to this question really is sort of like most of the time, no, it's not going to happen quickly. It's going to happen. I mean, it would happen faster than without. So I guess it depends on what you mean by quickly. But the thing with all magic, miracles are possible. You can have just amazing results that are atypical. I've had, dealing with like bad habits or something like that. I remember like just, I do a ritual and like it's just gone. Like there's no problem. There's like sometimes you get results that are that quick. And sometimes you don't, and there's no rule. So most of the time, no. It's gonna take time. It's gonna go faster than without the magic, but it's not necessarily gonna be super fast. But sometimes that does happen. So Yeah, I mean, I appreciate everyone being here, and we had just gotten this started again, so I really didn't want to just like call it off since we've just gotten rolling again. So I really um, did not want to miss today, and it is not like we've just stopped everything. We're still working on stuff. My wife is still working real hard on, even with the surgery in her hand being, but she's been working trying to work really hard on the manuals. We're wanting to, we haven't settled on a final form for what the manuals in the attunement store are going to look like this next version. I'm doing a version that's more updated and different, but that might not be our final version. We're still trying to figure that out, and she's really kind of spearheading that. She wants to keep adding more and more because she just wants to give people as much information as possible. But then on the other hand, like I'm kind of arguing for like not short, but still short enough that I know people will read it. Because man, the amount of people who already don't read the manuals is crazy. Like, um, yeah, that was the thing. Like one of the things one of the things that made this week extra hard was for whatever reason, even though after I posted everything was going on, I got inundated with messages from people, and a lot of people were just sending condolences and stuff. But in general, I just got way more messages about like how does this work? How is this and stuff. And the amount of people who seem to be almost offended by having to activate the energy every time they want to use it. Like that was crazy. Like, like seriously, like do I have to activate the energy every time I'm going to use this? It's like yes, and like it's so frustrating because I feel like I have made magic as simple as possible. Like I have, I have, I've made it where you can just simply say the name of the spirit a few times and that puts you in a deep connection with them, and just saying a name three times seems to be like work for people, and this is it's very disheartening. Like I mean it's like why am I even putting the effort out if people can't be bothered to do just that little bit? And I know it's not everyone, and I have to keep that in mind that most of what I get are like it's like the squeaky wheel. I'm hearing and noticing the thing that's wrong as opposed to the three wheels that are running smoothly and quietly. And so that the stuff that's going wrong always stands out to us, and that's but I have to keep that in mind. That's what's going on. But yeah, that was a big issue this week. Is like a lot of those people showed up this week, and with just complaints about like, I mean, they're making it sound like it's so hard, and it's like no, but what you're complaining about is like it's basic. This is like it's if you can't handle this, what are you going to do? So yeah, and people don't want to read. Someone messaged me and they're like, I just read your filthy grimoire book. Which deity in your book is who I should call on for this? And it's like, you obviously didn't read the book. Like, tell me you didn't read the book without saying you didn't read the book. There's no deities in that book, and the book is pretty self-explanatory as far as like you're working with all of them at once for every one of these. It's like just read the book. And people don't want to read. People don't want to read the manuals. They don't want to read the books. And seriously, I'm making this just as easy as I can. And man, so yeah, I'm sorry. That's my complaining for the week. So no, it's not the correspondences. They just don't even want to have to say the spirit's name. People there's a certain amount of people who think that when they get the attunement, that the attunement is just going to work behind in the background and do everything for them, and they're never going to have to do anything again. And it can do that. Like sometimes it does absolutely do that. The energy will flow and go off on and do something that your unconscious is sending it to do, or your angel or something, whatever you want to think it is doing something that will happen. But you can't count on that. And so, and especially like with things like the demon chariot or any of the chariot stuff, that's you can't just rely on it to just do that. That's part of the process is to call it. And another thing, like a lot of people have an issue with the Kabbalistic attunements, that because we're giving you the traditional way to work with these names and these angels, and like, yeah, they'll still work the way that an attunement will work. And people are constantly asking me, do I need to use the Hebrew? And it's like, no, you don't have to use the Hebrew, but there's magic in the Hebrew. That's where that power originates. And so you can always make things stronger by using the Hebrew. And if you want to take it even further and use the whatever extra might be, given there, then you can do that. It's not required, but why not just take the little extra effort? And yeah, the reason I started adding the correspondences and things is because, like, I wanted you to start understanding that these are more than just lists of powers. That spirits are more than just, yeah, just. I mean, they're like there's a certain thinking that has happened where people think that they're like computer programs for the universe where you just you punch in the right code and it gives you the results you want. And it's like, yeah, they're giving you can it can be helpful to look at it that way to understand things a little bit, but that's not the reality of what it is. These are intelligent beings with like their own, they're like I'm going to use the word alien, but don't take that too literally and like think that they're extraterrestrial. But they're an alien intelligence from us, in that they're not human and they're ancient, but they have personalities, and these personalities do show through. I mean, they can be varied for everyone that's working with them. You kind of get your own um, relationship with them that's a little bit different from everyone else's, but they do tend to be fairly consistent in certain things. And so we want to point out, we're trying to point out a little bit more, just that there's more than just the powers. They are a personality, and they are a living being, and you should not think of them just as, what is this power going to do for me? So yeah, that's why we're trying to add more, because I realize that I've been guilty of spreading that belief, unintentionally, but I still done it. So we're trying to correct that, and so in the future people don't make that mistake. Um, oh, that's fantastic. Someone's saying that the Enochian prayers have helped someone. I mean, yeah, there's okay. So someone's saying that they appreciate the attunement servitor who simplifies things and keeps things running in the background. And I mean, that's fine too. I'm not saying that it's wrong to always think, like, to never think of just a power and what it can do for you. But like, especially whenever you're just picking an attunement to get, like, you should think of it more as like, what spirit am I building this relationship with, and not just what powers does it have, I guess. And I mean, it's a little bit of both. So I mean, it's not like I'm not going to list the powers, because they are important too. someone saying they spent last week learning conjuration with David Rankin. Oh yeah, people would break if you had if it required going that all that extra um, thing with the and the traditionalist thing that you need to do, and the just for a goetic ritual, what is it, like 9 days of abstinence and prayer and solitude and just preparation for a ritual. And yeah, I mean, I don't feel like that is needed, but at the same time, like that people did that for a reason, and it's not like it's entire waste. It's a I do feel like it's for beginners. That kind of thing isn't entirely for getting new people to understand the gravity of what they're doing. Um, so regarding the shared prayers on Patreon, is it necessary to include an opening ritual such as the sign of the cross, the opening prayer, the temple closing? No, it's not. Um, I've got those there because we're going to use them here, and I just wanted you to have everything that we're going to use. So, and you can use it if you wanted to, but no, you don't have to. You can use just whichever prayer that you want to use individually. How do the Olympic spirits differ from the planetary spirits and planetary intelligences? So, I mean, mainly um, they come from different authors. um, like I don't believe Agrippa talks about them. Agrippa talks about the planetary, the archangel, the intelligence, and then the spirit. And the spirit is sort of the dark side of the planet's powers, like um, it's more like the demonic aspect of the planet, and then the intelligence is like the benevolent part, and you use the intelligence to control the negative aspects, or even to exercise the negative aspects from you, and then the archangel's just in charge of the whole thing. Um, the Olympic spirits are more in line of a sort of a combination of the archangel and the intelligence. They're like the benevolent side, um, and they can also be used to do that exorcism of the negative aspects of the planet's powers. And it's just, I mean, there's like within the planetary sphere, there's so many different spirits involved there. So, because like the Enochian, it has a whole different ranking of planetary spirits and stuff that don't really work within the same thing. It's like these are um, think of a planet as like it's a like a realm, and it's just full of this vast these amount of spirits and angels and stuff of that and they all work with an aspect of those powers, and a lot of these are very powerful within that, so they kind of encompass a lot of those aspects. But planetary magic really is sort of like the foundation. I mean, the goetic spirits are, if you, I can't remember off the top of my head. You'll have to Google it, but like the planetary ranks of, I mean, like the ranks of the demons in the Goetia, like a president, that means they're from Mars. They're a Martian power. Um, I think kings are solar, something like, I can't quite remember. You can look it up real quick. Um, so, but once you start understanding it, it's all planet. It almost entirely comes from the planets, like almost so many of these spirits, and like the genius spirits, they're more associated with the zodiac, and like, but the zodiac is really more of a breakdown of the planetary, and that's where all of this comes from. So there's a lot of overlap, is the point. And just getting a general idea of what the planet offers gives you a really good idea of what almost any other spirit. And once you start realizing what planet they're associated with, then you can figure out what more their power range is. I think a lot of us tend to think like engineers, and things are problems to solve. I mean, yeah, it's like that's the way we're trained in today's world, is to look at things not um, as beings and not as persons, but as objects that can be used to help us in some way. And how we're always looking to see how we can. And this is one of the fundamental problems with the world today, is that we see everything in a lens of how can this profit us, and including other people, and the world, the living world around us. And that's why, that's the downside of living and what is, even though I know that a lot of people still believe and have religion and spirituality, the predominant line of thought that we all kind of live in, regardless of what we believe in, is materialistic nihilism. That all that really matters, and then of course most of us live under capitalism, so everything gets broken down to just things, and then under capitalism is, well, what things profit us, and how can we exploit things to help us. And we have to unlearn that, and we have to like start looking more into relationships. And I mean, this is why, like, we should all be very worried about the climate and what's happening, like with things like the Gulf Stream and stuff. We have exploited and used this planet to the point where it's about to start being bad for us. Like, there's a glacier, that the crack is formed in the glacier. When that glacier falls, I think that they're saying that the sea level could rise like 2 to 10 feet based on how much of it falls out into the ocean. That's going to wipe cities off the map, and it could happen at any time. Um, the Gulf Stream can fail at any time at this point, um, which will change weather patterns, it'll change food, it'll change so much. And it's all because we don't see relationships. We don't have a relationship with the ocean anymore. We don't have a relationship with um, the air and the land. We treat these things as things to be exploited, and not as living beings. And it's gonna be the end of us. What's the title of the book you were referring to that people had an issue with? I had mentioned the Filthy Grimoire. It's he just hadn't read the book. He said he'd read the book. And in general, I'm just talking about the manuals for the attunements. Um, it's not. That's the only book I think I've mentioned. Do you have, or could you recommend an attunement for a full Kundalini rising? Um, so there is something called Kundalini Reiki, but nothing is going to just automatically give you a full Kundalini rising. But whatever. Okay, so um, Kundalini is one of these things that I don't like talking about it very much, because I'm not. I don't practice tantra, and Eastern things, and the reason that this is becomes an issue is because I do know people that do, and I know people who think they do, and I'm not sure where the two, like, because I hear so much about Kundalini and stuff, and then I hear it from people who come from that culture, and what they tell me and what I'm hearing from other people, they don't mesh. So I don't know. Um, I just want to be clear. I can't speak to you from a traditional perspective to really answer your question. However, what I do know is that um, when you get an attunement, so you have energy channels, especially ones that go up and down your spine where your chakras and stuff are. And every time you get an attunement, that channel, it's very when you if you most people have a very narrow little energy channels that don't let a lot of energy through. And every time you get an attunement, it widens. And if you get some of the bigger ones, it'll widen a lot. So like the Omnipotence 4 and Angelic Army and stuff, these are going to widen those out a lot. So, and that's why after you get some of these bigger attunements, you don't feel it as much because what you feel is that widening of your system. And when you have wider energy channels, you don't feel the energy. It doesn't affect you as much. Um, and so when you have those wide energy channels after doing several attunements, you can lift that. You can move that energy yourself. You just have to um, consciously do it. And because no attunement is just going to trigger it to happen. That being said, my actual understanding from people who practice, who grew up in that culture, say that a Kundalini rising actually just happens whenever you decide to start putting union with the divine as a major life goal. When you start dedicating your life towards that, that alone creates a reversal of energy, and that's your Kundalini rising. It's not this like esoteric energy that's like a quilt around the base of your spine. And the way that I experience it um, is a little bit of both. There is an energy that's down there, but I'm not sure if it really all works out. I remember when I did mine, it was like, really, you're just now doing this. It was like kind of that you should have done this a long time ago. That was the real sense I had. Because I already had like the thing, the wide energy channel. So it's just, but you just once you've had several attunements, you can just go onto YouTube or something, find a good meditation that's just uncoiling of energy at your base and just having it go up. And it's not going to be life changing. It's just going to feel right, and it's going to feel um, like, oh, that was that next step. That was good. I'm glad I did that. And it can then start, but that's how almost everything kind of is, at least for me. It's always been kind of oh, that's cool. That's nice. That was that next step. That was something I felt I needed, but I didn't have. It's not like, oh, suddenly I see fireworks and, uh, the goddess has come down and is now explaining things to me in person. That's not how any of this works. So, I'm not saying that that's what you were saying. I'm just like, um, just that's where my mind goes with this. So, to answer the question, like there's not really a single attunement that's going to do it. I think if you wanted to get an attunement, especially for that Kundalini Reiki is good. It's several attunements. I think it's 5 attunements and then 7 boosters or something like that. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. And when you get done, what it's basically doing is it's intentionally stretching out those channels so that it prepares you to do the Kundalini rising. So someone's saying we're kind of going back to I'm kind of reading backwards here, but Someone's talking about the media egregore still. I don't. I mean, yes. The media is absolutely um, an egregore. All the advertisers, that's all an egregore. It's all that. Any word on Discord progress? I didn't work on that this week. I didn't do anything with that this week. I have made someone a moderator, and she's hopefully going to start doing some stuff. But I didn't even know I wasn't a moderator because I didn't set it up. Someone else set it up for me. So I was trying to do stuff and it wouldn't work, and I didn't understand why. But I figured out why because I wasn't an admin or a moderator, and now I've at least made someone else a moderator on the Discord. So it won't be the end of us, but it will be challenging to get through the changes that are already underway. I mean, it entirely depends on how we react. So we might we. I mean, I do kind of lean towards it's not going to kill all of us. Some of us will survive, but depending on how we do, I don't want to live in Mad Max. Someone's saying there are exercises you can do to widen the central channel. Yeah, I mean, it's not all attunements, but attunement was the way it was asked. And yes, you can do exercises, but attunements, man, it works so much better. And so much, I mean, that's better, like so much faster, so much easier. You don't have to sit there and do the exercises. Just get a few attunements and boom, it widens right out. It's nice. See, I can be a little lazy too. I mean, it's not so much lazy, but it's like we are, we do have a busy world, and I do get that, and that we do need. We can't all devote ourselves to this practice like monks. So we need the help and we need the shortcuts, but not shortcuts to um, there's some this I just put it like there's always some fat that can be trimmed from most things, and that's what I mean by shortcut, because ultimately you still have to do the work. Um, but a lot of the things that are built into what we think is the work is can be kind of we can speed that process up and focus on other aspects. Can we use the glyphs in your omnipotence book for another of the omnipotence angels that wasn't in the book? Only if you have the omnipotence for attunement. Uh, that book was not created with the help of those with any of the other angels. They were specifically with the ones that are in the book. Um, However, if you have the attunement, it all work smoothly with the attunement. But yeah, the whole I don't know, like this whole um, there's just so much going on right now. It's like so I like I said, I didn't really work a whole lot on the political stuff this week, but I did start, and it was almost because of everything that happened. I kind of quit thinking about it as a problem to be solved or something, and I just kind of there's this, and I just started using the attunements just to work on the thing. And what I do is I would just see the problem in my head and send the energy to the problem, and then and you can almost like imagine like zooming out until you can like see the whole country, and you just send the energy to the whole country and to all the people in the country, or you can see the whole world and you can just send the energy to the whole world. So I've been doing more like that kind of stuff. Instead of trying to do rituals or anything like that, or try to work out exactly who to call on to do what or anything, or what's safe to work with. I didn't have time. I didn't have the time, really not the time. I didn't have the energy to worry about any of that. So, and yeah, like, and to a certain degree, that suddenly that clicked some stuff in my head. It was like, oh, this is right, because I specifically do say use the energies. And that's why I started using the energies here in the prayers, is because they're pushing me to, because like even I can fall back into thinking, well, maybe the just sending the energy is not enough. Maybe I need to do this other stuff, or we need to say these names or the proper thing. And it's like, and every now and then they just remind me, like, no, you're being dumb. This whole point of this has been to break you free from that line of thinking. Just send the energy, and it's enough for now. And there's a time and place for all of it. Because believe me, I still believe that there are times when you need to do a full, like, traditional ritual for your own sake. Sometimes, not necessarily to get the work done, but for you. Sometimes you need it. I can't explain why you would need it. It's just you. Sometimes you just do. Um, but then sometimes you also have to, like, break through that and just, like, um, get back to that intuitive, more intuitive work there, because there are two sides to. It's almost a masculine and feminine, or intuitive and rational side to magic. There's a side that wants to explain everything and try to answer all these questions and control and to force through will. And then there's the side that's like surrender and let go. Just go with the flow, and um, just give into that, and just let it go. And it's this balance between those two. You can't really do one well without the other. You've got to do both. And um, those of us, who identify more masculine, sometimes can have trouble with the surrender aspect of things, and it's um, something we have to remind ourselves that we also need to be the cup. We need to receive, and we need to let things flow. And so for the time being, I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do at the moment, because we're still ironing out the stuff. Like, I have a friend, we've both been having the same dream, and we're supposed to be getting together to figure out what that means. And we haven't been able to manage to get together yet because of everything that happened. We're going to try on Monday. And then I'm going to build some stuff, a ritual or something based on kind of the answers that we think we're getting from that dream. And so I'll have a little bit more. But right now, it's do whatever you feel just helps the situations. And like I said, send an attunement of healing, if whatever you have to heal the country, or if you have something for peace or harmony or protection for, you can protect uh, immigrants or people who are in danger right now. You can protect the concept of freedom. You can work with any spirit that works with freedom and just ask them for freedom. The main thing right now is just be thinking about it and contemplate what you feel can be done. And again, be very careful with any kind of attack, because you can definitely trigger the defenses, and they can lash out at you. So I highly encourage everyone to just focus on protection, healing, freedom. You can call for justice, but maybe not be specific. Just let let the ask these energies, like in these concepts and stuff, to do this work and to manifest here in our country. And truth, don't forget truth, that people can see the truth. Because like, man, I listen to so many people on the other side and how they've just been lied to and for so long. Like, let's not kid anyone. Like, Fox News has been on the air since the 90s, and there's certain like whole demographics of people who that's the only source of news that they've had for decades. And over the course of that time, they've just been slowly lied to, and to the point where people don't even have the same basis and facts anymore. They completely don't understand the other side, like, or what's real. And this is and oh my god, yeah. So there's a couple of things that happened on this is on the internet, so it's extra wild. But like, there was a guy talking about he was asking the question why if the moon moves between Earth and the sun and it's at the right angle, it will eclipse the sun. And yet Venus and Mercury are also supposed to be between Earth and the sun at points in their orbits. Why do they never eclipse the sun? Well, of course, the answer is because they're too far away. They're too small for it to register. It does happen, but we can't see it with the naked eye. And I went to the comment section to see if anyone had actually commented, like common sense, and about half of the comments in there were just absolutely flat earthers, just unapologetically flat earth. And then about a quarter of the people were giving the proper scientific explanation to his question. But there's about a quarter of people in there that, like, some were trying, but man, they weren't getting, they were way off the mark. And then there were a bunch of people like, because there's no such thing as space. You believe in space? It's all a lie. It's like, I'm like, space is a lie? Like, they don't even, there's a lot of people apparently that don't even believe in space. And a lot of people believe the world is flat. And then it keeps going. There was this woman who was talking about the rich were eating mermaids. And other people picked up on it. And then she got pissed off because other people were getting more popular with her story about people eating mermaids than she was. And then people were talking about the mermaid trade on the deep net. And their idea of rich people wasn't even like, I mean, yeah, celebrities are rich, but they're not really rich. They're kind of rich. I mean, they're richer than us, sure. And I'm not saying that rich people don't do hedonistic bad things, but like most people, and like, because they were blaming Hollywood. And it's like, yeah, a lot of people in Hollywood are can, get all swept up in that. But most of them were just people from the Midwest who went to California to make it big, and they come from small towns, and they're regular people who've made it big, and a lot of them are artists, and most creative people, given the chance to interact with a mermaid, their first choice is not going to be to eat it. If you're going to try to sell me a story of like rich people eating like a mythical creature, like I can see like the old rich, like doing that kind of stuff. So their story didn't even really work out for me. Anyway. But then the main point, there aren't mermaids. Sorry, like not on a physical level. There's not mermaids. They're not catching mermaids and eating them. And like the amount of people that were like, that believed that they were literally eating mermaids, and it was like, oh my God. It's just, so anyway, it's good to have an open mind. I absolutely encourage everyone to have an open mind. But don't open it so wide that your brain falls out. A lot of people realize that we've been lied to, and so then they assume they assume everything that comes from the establishment in any way is a lie, and that's not true. They just know where to lie in the right spots, and they have hidden things from us, and there are real conspiracies have happened, but that doesn't, just because some things do happen and there are conspiracies doesn't mean every conspiracy theory is true and that everything is a psyop. But the fact that there are psyops also and misinformation campaigns, like I kind of believe that the flat Earth movement was a psyop to make conspiracy theories seem crazy. Um, I think I think a lot of like the misinformation that's out there is intentional from people trying to control us. You know, be it our own intelligence agencies or Russia or uh, people trying to rip you off. Just people trying to sell you something. So yeah, it's crazy out there, and the amount of work that's going to be done here, that's needed to be done, is it's insane. What people, how far people have gone, and what um, so flat Earth is not biblical. That is not where. There's nothing in the Bible that necessarily says the world is flat, and it was not. That's This is a misunderstanding people have. Like a lot of people, um, I don't think the Bible even really talks about the sun and like and everything moving around there. There might be a throwaway verse here or there that says something that can lead you to believe that, but it's not enough. Really, what like whenever Galileo was in trouble with the church, he wasn't in trouble because he said that um, the Earth moved around the sun because that was going to like that was anti-Bible. It was actually going against Aristotle, and everything everyone knew about how everything worked came from Aristotle in the ancient world. Like that's what for since the ancient world, like everyone like Aristotle's worldview was the center. That was everything, and if you disproved Aristotle in that area, it was like they were like, well, what's going to happen? Because it wasn't biblical. It was Aristotle, and um, anyway, yeah, that just goes on a whole other thing. Like so much of what we think we know about history is actually propaganda, old propaganda. Like there was a lot of anti-Catholic propaganda from the Protestants to make Catholics seem really backward, that they believed in a flat Earth, and that's why like you get the story of like Columbus proved the world was round, and it's like because and that was just a story that Protestants like see Catholics were dumb, they thought the world was round. Well, people knew that the world was round since ancient times. It doesn't take a lot to figure that out. I mean, you just look at a ship go over the horizon. It shows you it's not flat. It's at least a dome. So anyway, and that's the other thing. Like I saw so much stuff about Easter being a pagan holiday, and all of that. That has no basis in historical fact. The Venerable Bede mentions. I don't know how to pronounce it. We're just going to call it Easter. It was a month, and in that month was a festival also named Easter. And he may have mentioned it was a goddess. I don't quite remember. But that's it. That's the only mention we have of that word. Um, We don't know anything about this goddess. If it even was a goddess, it might have just been the word for the dawn. But let's say it is a goddess. We still don't know anything about them. We don't know that bunnies were a thing or that eggs were a thing. We don't know anything. Um, the bunnies and the eggs actually came from German Protestants in a very specific region of Germany at a very specific time in the 1600s, and is not connected to anything pagan. It's just something this little community, these communities started doing, and it really wasn't even a rabbit. It was it was a fox. There was like a bird. There's like it's really more like the Easter critter brings eggs, because every community kind of had their own version of it. And when it came to America, it kind of got more solidified as a bunny. Um, but it's like so much of what we think paganism is actually Victorian ideas of what paganism would be, and what in like things. Same thing with the medieval era. So much of what we think about the medieval times is really what the Victorians thought about the medieval period and the ancient world. Like paganism, Celtic paganism was destroyed by the Romans before they became Christians. There was like they came in, and then I think it was in the year 60, the Romans destroyed the Isle of Mona, wiped out the Druids, burned down the sacred groves, and we have lost. Like that's when, because they didn't write anything down, so that's when Celtic paganism was lost at that point. Their priesthood had been completely wiped out. Um, so anyone that says that there's like some connection to some ancient, it's just not true. It's historically that was wiped out, and I'm not trying to be mean. Like that's just the reality of what happened, and that's what we had. We lost so much from um, this idea of empire and conquest, and but the Druids were stirring up rebellions, and so especially all through Gaul, where the Romans had committed a genocide, and they continued by going into Britain, where the Druids were still had their sanctuary of power, and they wiped that out. And then they caused like Boudica to attack, and then she got wiped out, and that was pretty much the end of armed resistance against Rome for a long time. And so much was lost from that. And anyway, that all goes to say like history's there's a lot of cool, interesting stuff about history that's better than those stories that are shared in memes. And we should take our understanding of these things beyond the memes and go find out what's really going on out there. It's not like there is a lot of sharing. Like religions share um, symbolisms, and they rip each other off, and it is fascinating to go through and see where that's real and not the I don't know. Like everyone seems to have an agenda, and it's like they're going to prove Christianity's wrong because they stole this holiday from this goddess. Well, I mean, first off, that's also being very Anglo-centric. Like it's not. It's only in the English-speaking world do we even call it Easter. It's completely different. It has more to do with Passover than anything else, and um, at least the Latin-speaking world. Um, and there are and there are certain symbols that just kind of are bigger than any one religion. Like almost everyone realizes, um, spring is a time of fertility, and spring's when bunnies have more bunnies. And the egg is always has actually a long history of Christian usage too. It's really Christianity has some weird symbolism. It's pretty weird, especially since Christianity is really it's really very multicultural. Symbolism in different parts of the world that are Christian, it developed differently. And so you can look at like the Eastern Orthodox ideas of things versus like the Roman Catholic versus like, what would develop in like the Celtic church. And again, you get all in, people would use different symbols and stuff. Like the 3-leaf clover was real big for the Celtic Christians because it represented the Trinity. And just anyway, it's all way more fun and more complicated and nuanced than the people trying to sell you a story in a meme or something. And anyway, that's why I don't like to have those discussions in the group where people post those memes about stuff, because it just it's way more complex and nuanced than can be discussed in a Facebook group. And I dislike people changing facts to fit an agenda. It's like there's this one that Bill Maher used, and it went crazy. And I think he got it from like some little homemade documentary, Zeitgeist. But it's the idea that Horus and Jesus have all these similarities and stuff, and it has this list of all these things that Horus had that now Jesus has. And it's like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't care what you believe about Jesus or if you or whatever. I don't have any skin in that game. But don't lie about Horus to try to destroy your someone's belief in Jesus. What are you doing? Horus wasn't born of a virgin. Isis was not a virgin. She was married to Osiris, and he was killed and dismembered. And she put his body back together, and she couldn't find his penis, so she had one fashioned out of gold, and then had sex with that, and that's where Horus came from. That is not the clean virgin birth of Christianity. Things like that. It's like, that's not. You're not helping the situation. You're not helping fight the wrongs of modern Christianity by lying about Egyptian mythology. Like, don't do that to Horus. Don't do that to Isis. Don't try to clean her up and make her the Virgin Mary. And like, some of it's just anyway. Get off my soapbox. I get irritated. Like, there's that Indigo Girl song about Galileo, and they say his head was on the block. It's like, his head wasn't on the block. They weren't going to execute Galileo. He was put under house arrest, and he did it because he published without evidence. Someone else found the evidence later and vindicated him, but the reason they were mad at him is because he published when he was told not to, because he didn't have enough evidence. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't prove a point. That doesn't help us win our culture war. But I'm on the side of truth. And if your agenda doesn't, if the truth doesn't, if the truth's not on your side, if it doesn't work, if you have to lie to get your story out there, then your story doesn't deserve to get out there. I just stick to the truth. I can't stand people that distort truth and history and science for their agenda. I don't know. You guys got any thoughts on anything else before we go? Because, that's really what it all boils down to me, is like, speak truth. All right. Well, I guess that um, hopefully this week I will get a little bit more done. I'll work some stuff out with excuse me, my friend who's having that same dream that I've been having, and we can work out a ritual to do that and start sharing that with you guys so more people can do it. Um, I think that it's going to be pretty simple. It'll have some I don't know, kind of well, I think that the goal is going to be kind of like, for lack of a better word, I don't really think timeline shifting's exactly what it's doing, but I think that it's the best word I've got. But we're going to try to do some timeline shifting and see if we can shift reality into a better situation. I think that that's what the dream is saying. That's my interpretation. We'll see what she has to say, and then we will. I'll report back, and we can start doing some of this stuff together. And I think that's when we'll start seeing some real shifts. So yeah, I'm sorry that haven't got a lot done this week. I love Boudica. Like, when I was in prison, I for a moment wanted to try to be a screenwriter. So I'm responding to someone down here comment, but I wanted to be a screenwriter, and 300 had just come out, and I'd finally seen it. And actually, I saw this. I saw it on telenovela, so it was like the Spanish subtitle. I mean, Spanish. How do I read the subtitles? But anyway, that's how I finally saw 300. I was like, I want to write like a 300 style screenplay for her. And so I did, but I've lost it. I don't have a copy of it anymore. It was pretty hokey, but it was fun. It's way over the top. Um, and yeah, anything we know about her is pretty iffy. But it is interesting that almost anywhere that along that path, whenever they do any archaeology, they hit a layer of ash where she burned everything to the ground. So they pissed her off. um, all right, so I did the final blessing already in closing. Oh well, we'll do the closing prayer again, just for something to do to say goodbye. So we give praise and thanks to God Almighty, and we give praise, joy, and thanks to all the spirits of heaven and earth. We, the holy children, go forth in love and power to create the temple of heaven upon the earth. O Lagnan Sambam, O Pre Yad Balto Paid, O Lagnan Sobam, Avavago Ad Pre Gad Yadan, Madriax Ad Kayask, Lil Yogam, Nun Zir Gabliorb, Ad Samf, Eno Blas Gim, Madriax Ar Kaosk. All right. Thank you all so much for being here on this holiday, and I wish you all happy Sunday, happy Easter, again, happy 420, if that's what you're into, and have a good week, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll be a little bit further along on some stuff. And thank you all for the prayers and the good wishes. And your condolences, and for my wife to get better. I do appreciate it, and just keep keep us in your thoughts and prayers, as and my family, they're going through the will reading and stuff this week, so that'll be very fun. And well, we'll see you all next week. Bye bye.